Went over the rules in the dressing room. Again, I want to caution you to keep this fight clean at all times, protect yourself at all times.
More or have trouble getting.
Both Team Barrios looking to establish the jab.
I'm trying to give too much.
Welcome back, fight fans, to Boxing HQ, where punches fly and opinions hit even harder.
13 knockouts against in a lightweight title unification.
Today, we're diving glove first into one of the most polarizing matchups in modern boxing. Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios.
Every time he throws a punch, his hands come right.
Some say the legend's still got lightning in those fists. Others think he's chasing echoes of the past. Let's tap into the temperature of the boxing world. It's hot.
Either start fighting more or have trouble getting.
Both Team Barrios looking to establish.
It's divided, and it's downright electric. In a recent interview, Conor Ben pulled a Houdini when asked, Pacquiao or Barrios? His reply, classic evasion. I just want to get my W. Translation, next question, please.
Either start fighting more or have trouble getting.
Both Team Barrios looking to establish.
The reporter wasn't having it, though he reminded Conor that he'd already picked Pacquiao earlier. Cue awkward laughter. That's when Conor's hype man swooped in like a hype-fueled guardian angel. He's looking amazing. I'm with him every day. He looks better now than before. Wait.
Of the third round.
Every time he throws a punch.
Better than before? Either Pacquiao found the fountain of youth or his camp sipping something magical. The hype man wasn't done, though. He went full fanboy with misty-eyed nostalgia. That was my guy growing up. I love Pacquiao. That was my man. He's the best. This wasn't an endorsement. This was a devotion confession. He did admit a sliver of worry. I don't want to see him lose to someone on his part.
His hands come right back to his body, anticipating the counter.
Then instantly snapped back into Manny Mania. He's not going to lose, and that's what I hope. What we're seeing here? It's not just belief. It's raw boxing emotion, a mix of childhood admiration, present-day fear, and a sprinkle of hope for one more ride on the Pacquiao Express. Then there's Floyd Money Mayweather, who chopped it up with Kevin Hart in a sit-down that felt more like a barbershop convo than an interview. When asked
In the first frame, Barrios establishing the jab doubles.
if any fighter ever made him second-guess himself, Floyd dodged it like it was 2010 again. No. Vintage Floyd. But he kept it real, adding, by round 3 or 4, I'd sometimes think, tonight might be rough. Enter the name, Manny Pacquiao, the only fighter Floyd casually praised and roasted in the same breath.
In the first frame, Barrios establishing the jab doubles.
He called Pac-Man one of the toughest ever and a future Hall of Famer, but explained why he kept control. I keep my distance. He's short. I keep turning him. Translation, he spun Manny like vinyl. Short people can pack a punch, Floyd added, elevating Pacquiao and short kings everywhere. Kevin Hart, clearly vibing, leaned in. What the F is it about Manny, man? Floyd didn't flinch. He just don't stop coming. Like taxes, like Wi-Fi ads, like that one friend who still calls instead of texting, relentless. Floyd's respect was real, laced with precision, wit, and just enough shade to keep the rivalry spicy. Timothy Bradley didn't mince words. He sliced right through the hype. It has to be financial, he said about Pacquiao's return. Any fighter that comes back, especially a guy like Pacquiao, it's about money. Oof. That's not just straight talk, that's a financial audit. In Bradley's eyes, this isn't a legacy tour, this is business. But before you assume he's throwing shade, he followed up with a gem. Manny's C game is better than a lot of guys' A game. Even on cruise control, Pacquiao is a nightmare in leather. Still, Bradley isn't blind to reality. Barrios is no slouch. He's young, he's bigger, and he knows how to control distance. Translation, this ain't an exhibition, it's a potential retirement party if Manny isn't razor sharp. Then came the knockout line. Sometimes these old legends gotta get beat up before they call it quits. That's not analysis, that's a eulogy with gloves on. Chris Mannix is singing a different tune. Forget farewell tour, he sees Pacquiao as a real threat. I actually think Pacquiao can beat Barrios, Mannix declared. His reasoning? He watched Barrios versus Fabian Maidana and left unimpressed. Barrios swells up fast. Maidana didn't even land clean, and he still marked him up. In Mannix's book, Barrios has a chin made of bubble wrap and a defense system made of paper. But Mannix didn't stop there. He came for Barrios's whole welterweight resume. Barrios is the most beatable welterweight out there. Stay far away from Boots. That last part wasn't just advice, it was a warning label. Jaron Boots Ennis doesn't fight, he erases. Mannix thinks Pacquiao can exploit Barrios before Father Time catches him with a haymaker of his own. Enter the loudest voice in sports, Stephen A. Smith. And no surprise, he brought fireworks and gospel. Manny Pacquiao is one of the greatest fighters we've ever seen, he declared. But it wasn't just about the belts or knockouts, it was about how Manny moved like a warrior monk in the sport. He never ran from anybody. That's sacred praise in boxing, where ducking tough fights is practically strategy 101. But Stephen didn't stop in the ring. He took it to the streets of the Philippines, where Manny's status goes beyond legendary. He's one of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet on the planet Earth, he said. People line up just hoping Pacquiao will help them. That's not clout. That's living sainthood. He's a giver. His money was often compromised because he gave so much away. Manny's generosity isn't just a trade, it's practically a public service. Greg Hackett didn't just drop quotes, he dropped verbal uppercuts. When he talks Pacquiao, he talks in facts, not fairy tales. He wants to steal as much as he can steal, Hackett said. And no, that's not disrespect. That's business strategy. Manny's not here to chase belts. He's here to collect legacy-level checks with one last bang before disappearing into icon status. Hackett sees it clearly. If it was some years ago, Pacquiao would beat Barrios' ass. But now, at 45, the story might look different. Barrios won't knock him out, he added. But he could do what Ugas did, jab and jog. That's not a win by war, that's death by distance. Hackett even said, if Barrios was my fighter, I'd love to have Pacquiao on the record. That speaks volumes. Pacquiao's name still hits like a hook, win or lose. But Hackett made one thing crystal. Pacquiao's different. These aren't just fighters. These are generational outliers, and even now, Manny's still a live wire. Robert Garcia didn't come in with pom-poms. He came with perspective. He tipped his hat to the legend, saying, he's a great person. I'd love to see him make history. But then, the tone shifted. He's already the oldest welterweight champ. But 6 years later, at 46, I don't see how he wins. Garcia's analysis was surgical. Pacquiao didn't pick a killer like Boots Ennis or Virgil Ortiz because, in Garcia's words, they would have hurt Pacquiao. That's not a jab, that's a protective truth. Instead, Manny chose Mario Barrios, a younger, lighter puncher from the same PBC stable. Smart? Yes. Safe? Maybe, but guaranteed? Never. Garcia acknowledged Barrios has questions about his chin and skills, but gave him credit for his youth, size, and survival instincts. Still, even with all that, Garcia didn't hesitate. Barrios is the underdog. I don't see how he could beat him. Because even now at 46, with a presidential resume, worn knees, and a country on his back, Manny Pacquiao is still Manny Pacquiao. So here we are, the twilight of a Titan's career colliding with a young lion guarding the gates. Is Pacquiao rising from the ashes, Phoenix style, one last time? Or is this the night youth sends a message? The old era is over. Hackett says Pacquiao is a hustler in the smartest sense. Garcia says the ring doesn't care about legacy. Mannix says Barrios is beatable. Stephen A. says Pacquiao's humanity makes him immortal. And fans, we say, bring it on. So let's hear it from you. Will the legend walk out victorious or get walked down by time? Drop your predictions in the